Shalom. Our special show today is about the essential role the Hadassah Women's Organization plays in the fabric of the State of Israel and Jerusalem in particular. Our guest today is Audrey Shimron, the Executive Director of the Hadassah Organization in Jerusalem, who will give us her perspective on current affairs and the partnership Hadassah has with the State of Israel. But first, we have this video report from Israel following these messages.
My name is Dr. Siderer Mirela. I was born in Romania and made Aliyah. I'm a gynecologist at the Clinic for Women's Health in Ashkelon. I love my job. Until 2000, when the second Intifada started, I treated many women from Gaza. For me, the patients are human beings first and foremost. For about 2 years, there was a lot of rocket fire from Gaza. I wasn't afraid, even though I could see where the rockets had fallen and we could hear sirens constantly. But it's a clinic. I thought it was protected. But the terrorists from Gaza didn't. One evening, just before 6 o'clock, I gave my last patient a referral. A moment later, I found myself under the table.
Missile came in and injured her and the patient very badly.
First, I saw blood flowing from my arm. I felt a ball of fire on my face. Burning, burning. Not pain, just burning. I felt my teeth in my mouth. I started to pick them out from under my tongue. I thought my patient and I were going to die. Talk to me, I said to her. We cannot crash.
We got her in a very bad condition. She could hardly speak, hardly swallow. Her appearance was badly affected in that incident.
I heard voices. We started to yell for help, and my colleague, roaring like a lion, started to throw things, trying to clear a path to reach us. They took me to the OR and put me to sleep.
She had only a part of her nose. She suffered fractures in her face, delaceration. 90% of her teeth don't exist anymore. She was not Mirela anymore. She looked completely different.
She was hurt badly. It was frightening to see her.
She was hit by a rocket. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't a trivial incident. It was a rocket.
We wanted her to look as close as she looked before the injury, and we wanted to bring her back to function, to restore her speech, deglutition, and chewing, which is all of us like to eat and smile, to bring her back a smile.
There's no one like Professor Sela, and I say that with all my heart. From the first moment, he told me, if you do what I say, you will be all right. And everything he said so far, that's how it has been. Part of my nose was gone. That was a huge problem. In the end, they took a piece of bone from my ear and put it here. My lower lip was torn too. It took a few surgeries to bring it back, bit by bit. My teeth, as I said, were all knocked out. I underwent tooth transplantation at Hadassah. For a month, I didn't want to look in the mirror. It took me some time to tell myself that this was the situation. There is life before and there is life after. And I have to keep going. There is no choice. That's the moment I started fighting. And since then, I've had 9 surgeries.
She will overcome, because I don't think it's finished, and we didn't finish yet. We are in the middle of the way.
He said that for a year, we can't do anything, nothing at all. So in a year, we'll do some more work. Professor Sela does things so that you can go out into the world. You can go out. You can feel like a normal person.
Part of sending the patient back to the society is your personal relations and the confidence that you give to those patients.
From the beginning, he was involved personally. That's my feeling.
One of her biggest frustrations was how will she be able to go back to work.
Little by little, I started to go out. I saw the looks people gave me, but it didn't bother me so much.
And I'm very happy when I heard that last week she started seeing patients again in the same clinic in Ashkelon.
I'm very close to my patients. Thank God I made it to this day, and I'm anxiously waiting to start working again. Thank you.
She's very strong. I know my mother, and I'm not surprised at her strength. But I'm in awe of it.
Her will to keep going and not to give up is amazing.
I think that we tried very hard and that we succeeded.
Thank you with all my heart to Hadassah. Thank you so much. I have no words for the help that you've given me.
With us now is Audrey Shimron from Hadassah in Israel. Audrey, it's a real pleasure to have you on the Shalom Show.
Good to be here.
Audrey, a question I must ask you to begin with is, how do you see Hadassah's situation in Jerusalem, Israel at this time in history?
I think that Hadassah is one of the jewels of Jerusalem, one of the jewels of Israel actually altogether. In Jerusalem, the name of Hadassah is synonymous with 2 things. Our hospital, the minute you say Hadassah, they say, oh yes, your hospital's in Jerusalem. And today a growing number who also say, oh, Hadassah, the college in Jerusalem. So it is synonymous with wonderful things that are happening in Jerusalem. Don't forget, approximately 6,000 employees in Jerusalem. That means that the name Hadassah is on the lips of so many households in the city. You can't, it's something very, very special, and I think it's growing. And as we see the growth of our campus at Hadassah in Karim, Hadassah is synonymous with the cooperation, the partnership of the Jewish community here in the United States and the people of Israel. It has been for almost 100 years, and it is basically the thing that pulled me to the organization personally.
And today, Hadassah is the 2nd largest employer in Jerusalem, I'm told.
That is correct. That is 100% correct. It is, I think it's 5,000 strong at the hospital and probably close to 1,000 between our college and our youth projects in downtown Jerusalem.
Not to date this program, but how are things going on in Israel these days? How are things?
Look, Israel is a very interesting place to live. It's the only place that I would live. And with all the tension and and what goes on around us, it is home. It is the place where I have always wanted to live since I was a child. It is the place where I brought up my children and now my grandchildren. And despite everything that maybe people that go on around, it is a wonderful country to live in. We have a lot to be proud of. We have a great deal of success. And just even the example of Hadassah itself and everything that goes on at Hadassah, at our hospital, our research, the amazing medicine, the hospitals themselves, the treatment, the care that is given, the message that our hospitals give to what kind of a country Israel is. I think Israel is a wonderful place for people to live. I love it.
Of course. And how do Israelis perceive the odd tendency of international media to portray Israel in a negative light and actually lie by omission often?
I think that as Israelis, we all have a tremendous sense of frustration. The frustration, of course, because of the incorrect portrayal, and a sense of frustration that we're not wise enough, we're not quick enough, we're not adept enough, we're not versatile enough to get our message out. We're always lagging a little bit behind time, and while we know the right is on our side at the moment, we are seen to be the Goliath, and David is the other side.
And how preposterous is that?
We all know how preposterous it exactly is, but it is, and that is the sense of frustration that we have. If I even just look at the flotilla, what happened there, I think certainly all the people in Israel know the injustice of what happened, the criticism of the world, and yet look how long it really took us until the message of the government of Israel, people of Israel wanted to get out. By that time, there was already ingrained another message, and that's one of our problems, and it's a growing sense of frustration that we have.
The media war for Israel, it reminds me of the power of words. I've mentioned on this show before one particular word, and that was the word disproportionate, how world media used the word disproportionate to describe Israel's belated retaliation against Hezbollah and Hamas, or terrorists or whatever they may be, in southern Lebanon, barraging Israel with missiles and so forth week after week, and Israel finally retaliating. And they called the retaliation disproportionate as a means and device by which to describe Israel as the oppressor rather than the victim, which is a total, absolute lie.
Of course, no question.
So what does Israel think about that?
That's hard for me to tell you. I think that Israel feels that we need to be a little bit more outgoing in our in what we need. I think sometimes we need to be more forceful in what we have to do, and at the same time be prepared in advance. We really need to prepare in advance how we're going to deal with our reactions. We know what we're going to do. We need in advance to be prepared, very carefully prepared of how we're going to react. I think that's one of the things that we're missing, and we keep missing it time and time again. I think that most Israelis, we're a Jewish state, so there are 105 different opinions at least, but I think most Israelis, there's a consensus on our existentialist need to defend ourselves. Of that, there is very, very little division. Where there is a division is how we deal with it afterwards and how we deal with it during the crisis outward.